Hello, everyone. It is Lisa E., your resilience coach. And today we're going to dive into a passage that hits me right in the heart, and that is Isaiah 41:10. It's a verse that's carried me through the storms of life, especially when I face one of my hardest battles, when my husband passed away suddenly at the age of 34. I had to hold on to a promise that wouldn't fade or change. And I found that promise right here in Isaiah. Here's why. With all of the I ams and the I wills in this verse, it reminded me of a marriage vow, the kind of vow that you say on your wedding day, and the kind that God speaks over us. So Isaiah 41:10, it says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Whoa. So that right there, just was filled with so many promises. There were five powerful declarations of God's commitment. I am, I am, I will, I will, I will. Let's break it down like we would a marriage vow. With each promise is a pledge to stick around no matter what. For God says, I am with you. That's like when you stand at the altar and say, I'm here for you, for better or for worse. It's a commitment to be present, even when it's dark, even when it's scary. For me, losing my husband at 34 was one of the darkest moments. And yet, God's promise was this: I am here, Lisa, in the middle of your grief and the broken pieces you can't pick up by yourself. And then he doubles down and he says, I am your God. That was like saying, I'm your partner. I've got your back. I'm not going anywhere. I got you. And then when we go into the second part of the verse with the I wills, and we say, I will love, honor, and cherish, right? These are vows of action, not just feelings. And God does the same in this verse. He says, I will strengthen you. I will strengthen you. This isn't a maybe, it's a promise. And when my strength was failing after my husband's sudden death, God's strength had to fill in those gaps. I still had a young daughter that I needed to raise. I was in an important position at work and we had a home and it was just a lot. And then he went on to say, I will help you. How many of us have felt helpless? I know I sure did. Yet God stepped in and says, I will come through for you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. That's like saying, I will never let you go. I'm holding you when you're about to collapse under the weight of grief and loss. I've lived that truth, literally. I felt that right hand. I remember when they took us to the family room, the room they take you to give you privacy and to have the family gather together, right before the doctor comes in and lets you know what's going on with your loved one. And I remember standing there and I was standing beside my mother and the doctors came in, they closed the door, said some pleasantries, greeted us and things like that. And then he went on and said, we did all we could. We couldn't save him. And I just went down to the floor. It was like the most slowest move down to that floor. And I remember my mom just being right there, and she did not attempt to pick me up or anything because she knew at that moment that it was nothing that she could do for me. And when I tell you that I felt that righteous right hand upholding me. So it's like that. It's like ultimate vow, one that never breaks. And I remember the day I said I do. I meant every word, but life doesn't always play out the way we imagine. When Sean passed away at 34, I felt like everything shattered. I didn't know if I could hold it all together. But then I remembered God's vow to me, that I am and that I will, that He whispered in my broken heart. You see, God's promises, they don't waver because of our circumstances. He doesn't break His vows because of our pain. His commitment is even deeper than any earthly bond. So, what about you? Maybe you're dealing with the loss of your own, a heartache, a season that seems too heavy to carry. I want you to hear this. God's vows over your life are not fragile. His I am means He's there when it's too dark to see. And His I will means He's already working it on your behalf, even when you can't see it or feel it. So let those I ams and I wills wash over you, reminding you that no matter the circumstance, whether it's the loss of a loved one or the weight of the world, you know how we say life is life, and His promises remain firm. So here's what I want you to do: take a moment and write down what God has promised you. Write those I ams and I wills that you need to hear today. I know I did. I have mine written right here. Maybe you need to hear that He's with you, that He's strengthening you, or that He's upholding you with a righteous hand that never fails. Remember, this is more than just a verse, it's a vow, a covenant, not like any human promise, but one with a God who will never leave, even when life feels like it's falling apart. You're not walking through this alone. His promises holds firm. So if this message resonates with you, please like it, subscribe, and share. And if you know someone who was going through this season and needs to be reminded of God's I ams and I will, share this with them. Thank you.